That's right. All right. It says we're live. I'm not entirely sure if we
It
are, but
does, yeah. It
that
does
is
say
the
we're live.
power of ridiculousness. Let's check with the there we go. All right. So we've got I'm looking at Author Platform Rocket. We're going live on that. What's up, folks? If you are checking us out, we jumped on a little bit early just to make sure that the technology is not going to fail us. And thus far, it looks like we're going to be all right. I told everybody to come to the page. Yes, there we are. Look at that. And just in case anyone's wondering, we're about 20 seconds behind in terms of, I'm guessing, the stream and whatnot. Let us check the Twitter feed. Twitter's one of those things where I forget. I'm sorry if you're watching us on Twitter. I forget. I really do. I don't
Twitter.
mean to. It really is. And I blame them.
I'm not
I
even
blame
on Twitter.
them.
I'm not even on Twitter, so I'm with you 100%.
Absolutely. There we go. Okay, cool. We're here. Awesome. So for the folks watching us at home, which is, I'm hoping, everyone. Thank you. Yes, for the folks, for the everyone watching us at home right now, what we're going to be doing here is, I like to call this the little COVID pivot hot seat, to look at what's kind of going on right now and just sort of brainstorm some practical ideas of how to, get to the chopper kind of situation, because there's a lot of crazy happening right now. Maybe we'll have a little fun with it along the way. Who knows? But if you are, say, from Author Platform Rocket or one of the other ecosystems that I have been playing with for a while, then you're probably pretty familiar with the ridiculousness that is about to befall everyone, and also some really practical stuff, because this is, one of those weird things that I do. But it looks like we're live everywhere. I'm excited. Let me check one more page. We technically have 1 minute. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see about this. There we are. There we go. Okay, excellent. And thank you for bearing with me on all of this stuff. So, get back to this so I can actually stare you in the face. And by the way, at any point in time, throw comments into the chat. I think I'll be able to see them. I think, as I make the air quotes. But yeah, let's start it off. Mary Wilson, tell everybody about yourself. Who are you? What do you do? Give the full rundown. You do a better intro than I do.
Thank you. Good morning. So yes, my name is Mary Wilson. My company is Wilson Collective, and I am a beauty professional. I've been in the beauty industry for over 30 years. My husband and I started our company about a year ago in support of small salons, small businesses. We are a small business ourselves. We do sell our products online, but we do it in a way that we support salons. We believe that professional products and professional recommendation is really important. And so as we are a new company and a new brand, we did something different. So we kind of have, we sell direct to salons, but what we do is when we launched our company, we jumped in an RV and spent 7 months driving across the country. Yeah. So about 30,000 miles, I think we have on the RV right now.
Wow.
We were
So
out
really
a
quickly,
month.
was this sort of like shake hands, kiss babies, meet the clients, that kind of thing?
Well, as a small company, we really felt like we would actually be saving money by driving than flying all over the place. And yeah, I mean, it definitely was. We do, our industry is big on education. So being with people, teaching classes, introducing our brand, visiting friends, staying with all of our industry friends along the way. So we didn't always sleep in the RV, but it was a great way to travel.
Interesting. Now, I want to just obviously that has nothing immediately to do with the current crisis. However, that was pretty awesome. So you got into an RV and just drove across this 30,000 miles to essentially meet. Did you document this? Do you have like photos and videos? And
Oh yeah, we do. We've only mostly shared them. So many people have said you guys need to do a channel on YouTube because, just the antics of, being in that space with your spouse. So everyone's talking about the struggles they're having being with their loved ones 24/7. We're like, we're so used to that. We just came off of
Right.
a month on the road. So we were up in
You were in a
Washington,
hollow metal
Oregon.
tube
We
for a
were
month.
a
Like,
small one too, not a big one. We have a pretty small one, so we can get anywhere. Yeah, so we cut our trip short. We went up along the California coast to
mm,
Oregon and Washington, and then we were to go over to Idaho, down into Utah, and then make our way back. And we had to cancel, all of the rest of our trip and head back here. So we've been sheltering in place. We're starting our third week today.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. So for everybody at home, she's in California. So
Yes.
definitely wanted to be able to actually get back into the home. Cool. All right. So how has, and to kind of give, and the reason I thought that you would be one of the best first people to start with on this is because of the industry that you're in. Like, kind of talk a
Hmm.
little bit about what's happened with that. So this whole
Yeah.
delightful COVID situation, what has happened in your industry?
Yeah, great. Yes. Well, so obviously, there's a lot of chatter about, when to close, why it's important to close. And, as the states have come along, it's been hard for salons that thought they closed early and would be able to reopen. I'm sure that's businesses across the board. The other part of it, of course, is that we are absolutely a touch business. So, how soon can we really get back to being able to touch people? Salons have always been a place where sanitary measures have been really important. It's required by the state board that have to you have to sanitize your tools and, wiping down stations. And of course, those things will probably change a little bit and be greater. But what is so interesting too is how people are joking about not being able to get into the salon and just how important that is. For
Mhm.
hairdressers, they're all just kind of going crazy because they realize how social their job is and how much not only do they love doing hair, but they love being with the people. So yeah, that's part's been really, really difficult.
Absolutely. And by the way, hello everybody. We're seeing a nice little stream of humanity flowing in now since I put up that little announcement, which I shall keep it there. By the way, there we go.
Well, no one has
Say
anywhere
hi.
else to go. We know that, right? So we should have lots
Legitimate.
of
I
people
know
showing
this is
up.
going to be super fun. We're going to have a blast with this because you can't go anywhere. You can't leave. There's nothing else to do. Welcome to your entertainment. This is fantastic. And it is with that hilarity and that crazy. And this is an entire industry that I think went from completely thriving to just click, like someone flipped the off switch
Hmm.
on
Right.
this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I know,
Yeah.
and I mean, we'll just spout averages. So, and obviously in other countries, I don't know what the case is, but just in America, the vast
Hmm.
majority of people, and I saw a tweet that had been sort of turned into a meme
Hmm.
recently that was saying how folks, essentially what we're realizing now is that we are a nation of people living paycheck to paycheck,
Hmm.
living in homes run by
Yeah.
landlords and companies that are living paycheck to paycheck, who are employees of businesses that are also running paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
And I think that if you just look at the average, and I think that the average was something to the tune of like 80%
Hmm.
to the case of that. And I think that's definitely a big deal. I think that's a
Yeah.
huge deal, is that, and you brought this up before we even hit the live button, is that it's super important to really acknowledge and be aware of where people are with their mindset.
Hmm.
Like, there's some legit like WTF Batman moments happening right now, and 100% totally valid. Like,
Hmm.
what are we going to do? The first question I would ask is, did you apply for your government cheap free money? Did
Well,
you?
my understanding, the first thing I did was reach out to our accountant, and I was told that based on our 2018 taxes, that it will be automatic if we paid via online. So yeah, so we don't have to apply for that. We have not applied for any small business loans or the CARES Act, or we're certainly following, and we know that our salons are following. I've heard, every day it changes and the rules change, and so we're kind of sitting tight on that. I understand the possibility of relief, but I don't necessarily trust that either. So at this point, we have scaled back on, payments where we can, but we're going to pay our mortgage because I don't want to be hit with a balloon payment, So personally,
Legitimately.
yeah, so there's certain things I think that you can offset, and there's things that you can't. That's again my personal
isn't
opinion.
like a right. No, I hear you on that. And this is just, the experience that I've had with other folks is that
Yep.
if you have a mortgage payment right now, what I do know is that if you call your bank, they'll pause it.
hmm
Like just
But
freeze
isn't it
that
a
little sucker.
balloon? But won't just,
I
are you sure?
strongly doubt it. And unless you
Uh-huh.
actually have a balloon mortgage, in which case
hmm
because that's a different kind of animal.
Right. Well,
But
no,
I would
what I
ask
had
that question.
heard, right, what I had heard last night on the national news was, so say that they'll pause it for you. You don't have to pay in April. You don't have to pay in May, but in June it's three times your payment. So to me, that is a balloon. No.
I would definitely check. I would verify that with your banks because that's
Uh-huh.
so counterproductive that I would see a wave of class action lawsuits coming
Right.
out of that. Oh my
Yeah.
word. Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
100% check on that. Because I
Yeah.
know that with us, we did it. My
Mhm.
wife called up and was
Awesome.
like, hey, and they went, sure. And there was
Great.
no balloon thing. And that's with
Uh-huh.
like, I want to say City and Chase or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Because and we have, like we're talking about, rental properties and things. So, we have that stuff too. So definitely if you have any kind of mortgage payment, call your bank and ask. And here's sort of
Yep.
the crowning reality that we all live in right now. Call and ask. Period.
hmm
End of story. Call your credit cards, call your mortgage people.
hmm
If you owe money to like businesses or other things, call and ask.
hmm
Because here's what nobody wants to do. Nobody doesn't not want to get the money. And everybody kind of understands there's some crazy going on right now and it's not normal. So, when the government rolls out the biggest stimulus package in human history, you absolutely are 100% guaranteed that everything's weird. Like that's it. That's the best. That's if you want to guarantee outside of death and taxes, that is it. Like when you see $2 trillion, and I'm pretty sure this is the first of many.
Yeah.
Um,
Right, because we're not done. Right.
And Sherrie Ortiz, this was a good one here. She just had a good point with this.
Uh-huh.
Every bank has a difference. I love that I can do this. Just throw this up on the screen like I'm some sort of
hmm
news commentator. Like
It's cool
Sherrie
looking
Ortiz
too.
from Tampa, Florida said that we could do this. Hello, Quinn.
I'll put my glasses on
Um,
then.
yeah. So
Yep.
that's a really good point. Get it in writing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100% get it in writing and make
Right.
sure. And the one thing, like I said, that I, tongue in cheek, take to the bank is that if nobody wants to foreclose, that's not a thing that people want.
hmm
That is absolutely not a thing that they want to do. And everybody realizes that a lot of stuff there's a lot of
hmm
crazy that has happened right now. So
Right. Because this is not normal.
call
Right.
and ask. Yeah,
hmm
this is like we've never
Yeah,
seen this in this country before.
that's right.
100%. Get it in writing. Absolutely. Thank you, Sherrie, for
hmm
that because that is just some really good advice every day. In fact, if you ask your spouse what's for
hmm
dinner, get it in writing. There you go. All right, awesome. Hello, everyone. By the way, I'm going to put this back up here. We'll throw this on the Periscope for the Twitter people. But say hey, drop your questions in the comments and things like that. So, all right. So, for those of you who are going, that's what's always interesting about these live things. It's sort of like having the crazy street preacher standing on the box and people just sort of coming in and out. That's why I focus on the webinars so much, because it's like everybody gets into a room and they're all huddled around the campfire and actually
hmm
paying attention to the whole thing. But yeah, so this is going to be one of the first of many, and we're here with Mary. She has, she works in an industry who has been absolutely decimated by this thing. To say it's on pause would be sort of a friendly understatement.
hmm
And so the idea here and the thrust, if you will, of all of this is what can we do now immediately, because cash flow, I think,
hmm
is going to be, liquidity, as they like to call it,
hmm
and also recognizing the opportunity. So the first thing is if you are hemorrhaging, stop the bleeding, right? Stop the bleeding. So call anybody you owe money to, any financial institution. Like Sherrie said, get it in writing, but
Yeah.
probably you're going to be able to take a pretty healthy pause.
hmm
on almost anything that is a commercial loan. The second thing is make sure that you get with the SBA and apply for that stuff. You know, there's a $10,000 whatchamacallit. I am not a lending person. You know, I'm not an accountant or a lawyer. I only play 9 of them on TV. Go talk to whoever you need to talk to get the thing with the stuff. But definitely get out there and try. There are also alternative lending sources that based on, well, I'm trying to remember the 3 C's here because this is not my typical wheelhouse, but it probably should become part of your wheelhouse is, you know, if you have cash flow, if you have credit, and then collateral are the 3 ones for alternative lending. And so definitely stop the bleeding. Definitely stop the bleeding. That's what I would say at first. All right, let me see if I can actually type that into the comments here. 1, stop the bleeding.
Whoa, you're getting really high tech now.
Oh, I am. I'm digging down into this. Call your banks, credit cards, and not cars, cards. See, I can't. I'm one of those people that cannot type and talk. Credit cards and other debts. Ask them to pause. Get it in writing. All right. Boom.
Awesome.
Looks like I just tossed that up there. Number 2 is going to be apply for the SBA disaster relief loot, because that's a cooler word than money. And there's 2 different kinds that I'm aware of. And like we were saying a few minutes ago, for those of you joining us from your living room, which better be everybody, that the disaster relief loot, there's a couple of different kinds of that. And there are also alternatives to that. I do not know what they are offhand. Please check into them. But based on the 3 typical lending C's, you have cash flow, credit, and collateral. You could be open to. Now, the one thing I did learn about SBA loans is that number 1, right now, they are taking into account the fact that cash flow is probably down for most people, but they will lend up to, I believe the number is $350,000 without requiring a personal guarantee.
And somewhere around 3%, right? 3% interest, I think.
For businesses, yeah, it's going to be like between 3 and 5%, and you can get them on 10, 20, and 30-year terms.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm not a huge fan of, I guess I'm getting to be a little bit more. This has kind of made me see a lot. But, you know, so money is available. There is money available
right.
And it's also for freelancers and things like that.
Right.
So there you go. Number 1, let's do that. Where did I put it? Boom. Let's put that up there. Stop the bleeding. All of that kind of stuff. Get it in writing because that's what it's supposed to say. Oh, because that's on Twitter.
Yeah.
There.
And I think the point that you made too, that's so valuable, even to, if you have cash, hang on to it, because we don't know how long this is going to be, right? So if you say, oh, in 30 days, I'll take a look at it. And then the backlog, right? The backlog is so far that it would be 6 months before you'd hear back. So sooner rather than later, just exactly like you said.
Absolutely. Yeah. Understand that this is affecting everybody. So do this. I mean, let's hang out for a few minutes, but do it today. Yeah. Period. End of story. Like make those calls, put out those disaster things, get it done. The other thing to keep in mind is that this is common sense. Let's call it. This is going to be a little bit longer than 30 days. For sure. You know, and I'm not trying to like make a political statement or anything like that, but I think that we could safely assume we're looking at 3 to 6 months. Somewhere within that ballpark is what we should probably prepare for. Not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm just saying that's what I'm doing. You know, it's like I'm thinking 6 months ahead right now, how that's going to look. And now here's the thing about that. There's opportunity here. Obviously, stop the bleeding, call the people you need to call, talk to the people you need to talk to. Communication is the most important thing that you can have right now. So you don't get like bulldozed by a ton of problems. So let's go to number 2. Go check out your loot with the SBA. I'm a huge fan of that word, that and booty, you know, loot, booty, whatever you want to. I feel like it's interchangeable. It's good. And then the next piece of this is let's pretend you get some money and that you stop the bleeding. Now you have some money. What are we going to do with it? All right. So this is where I want to explore with you, and this is kind of the whole purpose of the call right here, is to look into what could we be doing right now that is going to push the peanut a little bit further,
Yeah.
because once you stop the bleeding, and then that typically stops any kind of panic situation, which is a big deal. Like
Mhm.
you can't go into this fearfully, go into it clear headed, eyes open. Um,
Mhm.
and so let's explore your industry. So
Mhm.
you directly cater to the spas and the salons.
Mhm.
So you're going to be talking to owners and managers and things like that. Am I
Mhm.
right?
Yes. Yeah, so for our business, they'll have the customers when it's time to come back. Like I said before, it'll be the concerns about how to make sure that it's when it's time and that we're all allowed to be touching each other and in each other's space again. So salons are really marketing towards keeping in touch with their clients right now. And I think that's important for all businesses so that clients know that you care and that don't cut your own bangs, don't color your own hair. I've taken the pledge, if you can see the top of my head. So all of us that are in sort of the top part of the industry are pledging not to color our own hair in solidarity with our clients. So that's me.
Hmm.
And who's going to see you anyway? Really, who's going to see you? So yeah, I think that a couple of opportunities, and I know that you believe this too, are that many of people across the world are learning more about how to utilize technology as well. Thank goodness for our cell phones and our laptops and our iPads and our devices because we can stay connected. People are learning how to jump
And
into
we can't
Zoom
distract our children.
classrooms. Right. They're learning how to jump into the steam yard, and they're learning how to go to classes on Zoom. So for us, we'll get back in the RV again, but I do feel like we'll do a lot more of this too. So there's a lot of education happening for hairdressers in this time. In fact, it's so much that it's almost overwhelming, and we're kind of hitting the pause button and waiting a few more weeks because as you said, right now everyone's scrambling to get that. How do we get through the next 2 months financially? Then it's settle in, figure out what's working in your business. Many salon owners are also stylists behind the chair, so this gives them the chance to really step back and look at their business and say, okay, what do I want to do differently, and how do I want to interact with both my staff and my clients in ways that are going to strengthen my business.
100%. All right. And for everybody listening, what I want to do is kind of put this into let's call it putting it into a bucket. This isn't just for
Mm.
spas and salons. This is, a conversation specifically for business owners who have
Mhm.
direct personal contact with other people who have a
Mhm.
local client base.
Right.
So this is going to be plumbers, electricians, anybody in
Mhm.
those kinds of like person to person sort of businesses.
Mhm.
And that's a
And
really
they're
important thing to think about.
and a lot of those they're still working, right? So it's anybody who has to be within 6 feet of someone else.
That's true. I tend to
Yeah.
not want to be within 6 feet of my plumber, typically because of what they have to do. Children are evil things when it comes to toilets. It's like, you put how many toys down there? Vivian! Oh, it's crazy. That's what happens when you have tiny humans running amok. Um, so I think there's a lot. So here's the opportunity here. And it's really very much a mindset shift that comes with this is, okay, you want to, let me describe what I like to think of as top down versus bottom up marketing. And it
Mhm.
comes from my background many moons ago when I very first was like, I really need to learn how to sell things to people because that's a handy skill. And I started selling Kirby vacuum cleaners door to door. This was,
Wow.
I mean, I was not, I think it was like 22 or something like that. Yeah. So this was over 20 years ago. Ugh. And very quickly became pretty good at doing it. But what I realized was that it was an astronomical crap load of work for several reasons. And the first one was that the people were unqualified that I was typically going to go do an hour-long demo to. And the second piece was that I was driving all over the place. And technically the third piece was nobody knew who I was from a hole in the ground. And so I was like, I think I'd like to be able to, fix this problem. And so what I realized was that bottom up, and this happens to a lot of people whenever you need to sell something, it's a lot like a proctology exam. It's like nobody wants to be there and everyone's uncomfortable, right? And that's if you have to sell something to somebody and you get that sales resistance, like, who are you? What are you doing? The opportunity we have right now for anyone who's in a selling kind of position or a relationship base where you have to sort of kick open the door and go, hi, I'm here today for you, is to reverse this process and start doing what I like to call top down. And I'll describe this for you. So back in the days of yore, I was, this was long before smartphones, launched a website that allowed people with cars who had problems to connect with local auto repair shops. And they could put in the year, make, model of their car, describe the problem, and then the repair shop got a lead and they could respond to the person. So in order to do this, I had to smile and dial. I was picking up the phone, calling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. I was bottom up marketing with this. So what I was like, I have to do something different because it was not feasible. I mean, yeah, I'm closing deals, but it was like, meh. Excuse me. And yes, by the way, allergies and asthma, I'm not affected with the thing. I've been a hermit for 10 years now. So what I did was I figured, oh, this is interesting. If people know who I am before I make this call, I bet, and this was just making a gamble, I bet they're going to be more receptive when the time comes to sell something. And at that time, there wasn't a ton of availability for this. So I learned how to do this in the media. And what I did was I went and, figured out how to get in the news, in the radio. Didn't do TV because, face for radio kind of thing. That's what they always tell me. And I was featured in 21 front pages of the business section over the course of a week, which then led to a bunch of AM radio interviews. Let me describe how this changed everything. My calls went from, wait a minute, who are you? You want to talk to what? Oh, yeah, you know what? We're on lunch. Can you call us back tomorrow? Within a week of doing this, the calls went from, oh yeah, you're that guy. We've been meaning to call you. Now they rallied the entire shop around the phone with me on speaker so I could talk to them about this thing that they just heard about. Money, it changed everything. And right now we are in a position, excuse me, asthma and allergies is not a good combo.
I have it too. I'm going to take a drink of water too.
Yeah, coffee, jeez. Yeah, so we're at the position that we're in right now as a nation of business owners, hopefully who are listening to this, is to flip the script on this. And this is happening for many, many reasons. Number one, there is a Variety magazine put out an article recently that validates this. Google and Facebook right now are in the middle of taking what they think is going to be a $44 billion hit because everyone's pulling their ads. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Yep. It's cheaper. It's Christmas. Mm-hmm. It's so cheap right now to be able to run these things that it's ridiculous. That's why I'm running ads just to, hey, we're going to have a free conversation, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm not selling anything here. I don't even think I have a link to buy something on this page. It's like, okay, here, hey, we can probably do something. So that's that right there. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm like, hey, once you stop the bleeding, get a little funding. Yeah. What do you do with the loot? Here's what you do with the loot if you want to take market share. So that's number one. Number two is the ability to produce content that is going to be helpful to your target demographic right now is vital, like in your exact situation. Yeah. If you were to go to your market, the salon owners and the folks in the spas and the hairdressers and beauticians and stylists and everybody that you work with, and start to produce content on how they can start to engage with their client base while we're in this kind of situation. What I want you to think of, let's pretend it's like 6 months later and you just do this every day, 20 minutes or whatever it is. Hypothetically speaking, if you're the face that they're seeing every day for this length of time and you're the person that brings them help and that delivers them some level of joy, when all of this crap is done, how likely is it that you're going to be the person? I'm not going to say they're going to buy your stuff, but do you think the deck is going to be stacked in your favor just a little, that they'll either take your call or when you roll up in that RV, they're going to come running out and give you a legal hug?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And we are doing those things. Yeah.
Excellent.
Connecting. Yep, absolutely. Connecting in every way that you can.
Give me a breakdown as to what your marketing strategy is using that exact method.
So we're being contacted by other industry leaders who are doing. Yesterday, we did an all day. We did a 1 hour segment and an all day pop up where we did hair cutting and talked about holding the faith and improving your skills. We're supporting tomorrow night. We're doing a live. We have a beauty business reset for salon owners. We're part of that, and we'll be presenting tomorrow night. We're connecting with one of our trade magazines, and we're going to be doing some live. Probably the week of the 20th with them, and then just getting on. I also teach yoga, so I've never done, like you said, getting on live. Last Friday I did my first live yoga class via Zoom, inviting people to be part of that too. So connecting, supporting in any way that we can. My husband's pretty well known in the industry, and people really listen to and respect him. So shout out to Philip Wilson. I don't. He's not watching, but he'll watch
You
this
go,
later.
Philip. That's awesome. No, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. So
100%.
Philip, everyone loves my husband. Everyone loves my husband. So
I already love
so
your
that's
husband. I've never even seen him.
you would love him too. He has these big square black glasses that is like the joke in the industry for everyone to get a shot in Philip Wilson's glasses. Um, so yeah, check us out on Instagram. Wilson Hair Collective is we're on Instagram. We have a pros only page where we share only technique and salon support ideas with salons. So we're really about supporting and helping salons grow. So not everyone can go there, but we do have Wilson Collective Professional Hair Care page on Facebook, and then Wilson Hair Collective on Instagram. So we're doing a lot of those things. I think what you and I were talking about before the call too is the sensitivity to where people are at right now. And that's why I wanted to ask your advice about what type of ads are okay right now.
Well, I'll tell you the kind that isn't, and I saw it recently, and I thought it was hilarious. It's like, we're so. It was some local car dealership, and they're like, we are all in this together. We understand that you're going through some rough times, and you know what fixes rough times? A new car. I was like, stop it. I wish I could have recorded that just as the sort of like buffoonery to avoid like the plague.
Yeah.
But really quickly, I'm going to answer this question very specifically, but I want to kind of give you an idea to potentially think about. So the idea of platform is cool. It is the lifeblood of everything kind of thing. And what you're doing absolutely, I think, is very important. You're connecting with other people who have a top-down approach. Like they have a list of customers. They have a following of people that are in your target demographic, and everybody working together, that tide raises all ships. Here's an idea to take this like big time, is to specifically during this time start building an SMS and email list of spas and salons, the owners, those kinds of things. So this would be an opt-in, voluntary kind of thing. So yes, of course, Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. Here's the problem with those. The reach is like complete garbage. It's terrible. Like the building a platform there is yay, but it ain't going to help you in the long run. They might let up a little bit on the organic reach restrictions, but since 2013, it's an important, and it sounds small, but it's vital. There is no, for business owners like us, there is no more social media. There is social advertising. So everything is pay to play. If there's something that's organic, yay. LinkedIn right now, for example, if you publish articles, that's organic. It has organic reach like Facebook did circa 2012.
Okay.
So that is definitely a place to go because you can reach the people that you're looking to reach. Here's the trick. You need to start thinking about this, not just from a content production standpoint, but from a strategic platform building standpoint, where you can work with What you are in the position to do is become the hub for the entire industry, not just what you sell, but to build a platform of tens of thousands of salon owners. For example, I mean, and we had talked about this, you know, the aspect of my marketing agency that works with that same group of people. You know, we had to pause that because the reality is it's like they could offer, hey, we'll pay you $600 to come in for microblading. Won't happen. No one's going to do it right now. Hey, you know, shelter at home. My eyebrows are going to kind of thing. So that what I'm saying is, you know, find something like, say, MailChimp, and you want to, because like if you look at what's going on, like what we're doing right here, because I have a subscriber base of about 20,000 right now, I'm able to hit send and tell people where to go. So you use email to move people into social media. You use social media. Like there's a reason why I'm streaming on pages rather than in the groups, because I can build an audience of the people who consume this content. So I want you to think about, and why do you think I'm putting out, like, for example, I'm running video ads that are about 1 minute and 30 seconds long that have no call to action. There's no buy my stuff. There's like part two's right below this. Because I'm aware that I can build an audience. So for example, you think about how expensive normal advertising is. How much do you think you would pay to get someone to watch, say, 100% of an 18-minute video if they've never heard of you before?
On what platform? On TV?
Any of them. Yeah, sure. TV, anything. Like if you're actually paying for this ad.
Thousands and thousands of dollars, yeah.
Yeah, thousands upon thousands. It'd be insane. Like I did the math. That's why I have the webinar every Thursday, because I actually show these pictures of what the math looks like. In one particular case, you know, for the authors, it was an 8. No, I'm sorry, I'm lying. It was a 16-minute video. I apologize for what I'm going to say, and it cost me, I want to say, 73 cents to get a complete stranger to consume that entire thing. Now, if you think about that, do you think that a person who's going to sit there and watch me on screen drawing on a whiteboard for any length of time at all, I mean, either they are brutally depressed and are just asking for help, or they are my exact customer. And they might be the first thing too, which is okay. But
or both.
That's the psychology I want you to kind of think about, is that you can build a group. So now imagine this massive pool of people who are consuming your content. And maybe there's this, hypothetically, there's a virus raging through the world, causing mass hysteria, and everyone's at home, and like people are pulling ads and everything's super cheap right now. And you have this crazy opportunity to build this pool of humans that literally encompasses the entirety of the industry globally. And you could do it in 3 months for cheap. So for example, another video, much shorter, obviously, 100% of people, it was 0.019 cents. So what I've been doing now, and so that one's been seen by over 200,000 people. And so now I have an audience that I can spend $1 a day, poke, for 6 months while they're in this situation. And if I'm not asking them to buy anything, I'm just offhandedly mentioning. So if you did this, and you did this strategically, and you're like, listen, I know that social media is hard. It's hard to get the word out because of, you know, nobody sees anything anymore. So, and be honest about it. Like, listen, join this. If you sign up for this, you're going to get emails about what kind of lessons we're going to do every day or every week. So go in here. If you want to unsubscribe, you can. But, you know, there you have it.
So we do have that. Absolutely. For salons. Yeah.
Excellent.
So they have to join. They have to join the membership to prove that they're a salon, and then they go right into our database. So, but I haven't been reaching out to them in those ways. So far, we've provided graphics and artwork in ways that they can reach out to their clients, because that's how you can support salons right now, is by buying product from them and having it shipped by companies. So they're looking for companies that they can trust. So yes, all of those messages, just keep driving that home, that we're here to support them, is what you're saying, right? Not
Well, I
looking
mean,
to
but
sell
don't just say
something,
you are.
but
Like, absolutely do like whatever video it says. You know, do a
yes,
video where you literally show them exactly how to do that, and then what
right.
you'll do is run that as an ad.
Yeah,
Bid on engagement, not video
yeah.
views.
Awesome. Thank you.
And then you're going to be able to build that pool of people. And then, so we call that, you can call it the tip of the spear. So I'd say maybe make 5, 6, 7 different videos.
Mm-hmm.
What is the leading conversation happening in all of their minds? For example, where do I get money? Maybe make that video. What do I do here? What do I do here? What do I
Yeah.
do here? And run all of those maybe for $1 a day into cold traffic, and let your cost per 100% view tell
Mm-hmm.
you which one of those conversations is most pertinent.
Yeah.
They vote with their eyeballs. Like, you don't ever take a survey. It's never going to help. You know, it's like, just sort of like it's, I don't know. Surveys don't really show, because then you have all that cognitive bias. You just want like sort of
Mm-hmm.
the lizard brain to be like, and they click
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that they see, and just let humans tell you with their eyeballs what is the most important thing. Try to keep the videos
Uh-huh.
under 3 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then if you want organic reach, articles, and I'll give you a trick for this. Articles in LinkedIn, maybe 4 to 5 of them a week.
Mm-hmm.
Easy consumption, 500 to 750 words, like nothing big, but you basically just tell them what you're doing in the videos.
Yeah.
And what I
I'm not
recommend doing
active in
is,
LinkedIn at all right now, so that's really
well,
helpful.
you might not believe this, but
I
a
do
lot
believe
of
you.
stuff is stopped right now. Like, there's a lot of time everyone has on their hands. Guess what you could use your time for?
Yeah, for
Is,
sure.
yeah.
LinkedIn.
And so, and that's why we're talking about this, is that there are 2 platforms right now where you can get organic reach:
Uh-huh.
TikTok
Yep.
and LinkedIn. That's it. Every place else is pay to play. And even
Yeah.
Facebook,
Or you're
although
just
Facebook
talking to
is
your existing
super,
audience. Yeah. Yeah.
which is fine, but that's not going to help very much because it doesn't grow you.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
what you could do, and I mean, if you want to, for example, like really set yourself up for like almost an HGTV level, welcome home kind of thing, is you start talking about like, hey, when this quarantine is over, we're getting back in the RV
Yep.
kind of thing.
Where's our first
But
stop?
that, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, I mean, how large is your existing audience currently?
Right now, we're under 500 salons. So we're small. So we're less than a year
That's
old.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. For our actual, talking with customers, potential
Mhm.
customers. Yeah.
Cool.
So we're
All
small.
right.
Lots of
Yeah,
potential.
no, that's fine. But I think you could probably grow that by a factor of 10
Hmm.
within 3 months. You could go from 500 to 5,000 fairly
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and I would do this. So it comes down to the daily micro rituals that you now put out. So there needs to be action, like tangible action steps for that. So the first thing I would do is map what are the daily micro conversations that you're going to have across all platforms
Hmm.
with your people. And if you have a list of 500, that's a huge boost, because now what you could do is use that to amplify the algorithm anywhere. So think about like that email list is sort of like just some sort of rocket fuel that you can dump on the
Hmm.
organic reach,
Hmm.
and maybe start with a daily live stream where you just
Hmm.
do a Q&A for folks, help them out, do what we're doing kind of thing. Try it every day. It doesn't cost
Hmm.
that much.
Right.
And then from there start to build that pixel audience. So don't ask them for anything, but just build the consumption audience of people who are, say, watching everything you're doing.
Right.
And it's like, okay, cool. And then, take that and run it into the salon owners, then
Hmm.
post an article on LinkedIn. Maybe you would just happen to provide a link to that video. And so now you're pulling people out of one platform and that you cannot capture them in,
Right.
and dumping them into a platform where you can capture them.
Right.
And then once again, now you're following them around the internet, lost like a lost puppy, going, not buy my stuff, but here's some extra help.
Hmm. Awesome.
So if you take that strategy and then you're like, hey, if you want to join this thing, if you're a salon owner or manager or whatever your criteria is, here you go.
Yeah.
So by level 2 or
Awesome.
3, you do that. And then when all this is
Yeah.
over, it's like, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're on the road. Buy my stuff.
Yeah, and we'll stop by and see you. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
If I wasn't holding my phone with my both hands, I would be taking notes. So I'll have to
Oh,
watch
I
this
have these
back
for you.
so
Don't
I
worry,
can.
I'll give it to you. That's fine.
Awesome.
I already did that. Cool, awesome. So anybody else in there who has any questions,
Yeah.
we put number 4 after you've stopped the bleeding. Build your audience daily, everywhere. So if you look at what's happening right now, right with this, we're just hanging out. That's super funny. Like Periscope hates me. They're like, "This is spam." I'm like, I'm just gonna write, "This is
Periscope.
spam."
No,
Let's see what
it's
they say
not.
with that. No, they let that one go through. Oh no, they blocked it. Okay, cool. That's good. That one was definitely spam. I didn't mean that one.
So Periscope won't let you. Hmm.
Yes. Well, just in this particular situation. So number 4, build your audience daily everywhere. So for example, go on TikTok, do 15 to 60-second videos. Learn the hashtag, go on YouTube, learn how to do it right. Like everything you need to know is on YouTube. And then from there, go to LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
have everything head back to say Facebook or YouTube, because those are the 2 platforms where you can build these audiences.
Mm-hmm.
$1 a day ads,
Mm-hmm.
run your content,
Get
build
emails.
your audience, get your emails, get your SMS, and just lather, rinse, repeat throughout the entire thing.
Perfect.
In 3 months, if you do this every day for the next 3 to 4 months, maybe 3 to 6 months, I would be shocked if you don't have over 5,000 subscribers, because you certainly will have the audience of people who have watched your stuff.
Yep.
And I can tell you, having done this for 9 days, for me, it's over 200,000 people. So,
Awesome.
like for example, with this live, you never really have like a huge audience live, but it's after the fact. So for
Right.
example, a lot of those videos that I've done for this have then gone on to be 40, 50, 60, 70, 100, 200,000 views.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you have it. That's what I would
Wonderful.
do. I think you have an amazing opportunity to
Thank
become
you.
like the humans of the industry, especially with your husband,
Yes.
who I really need
Yeah.
to know him now.
Yeah. And honestly, that's why we started our company. All the reasons, all the ways that we can support salons, all the ways that we give back. We have a reasonably priced product. 100% support salons. We are hairdressers. We come from the industry. And yeah, so we feel like it's time for small businesses to support small businesses. So, if you're watching, talk to your local salon about Wilson Collective.
Absolutely. And by the way, I do like that you're doing a top down with the other people in the industry. What I would get into if I were you is more hosting it on your own platforms. I wonder why.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And we do, but our platforms are small because our reach is, like you said, it's the people who already know us. We're talking to the people we already know. So working on those ways that you described to go beyond that is really exciting to me. So thank you.
An idea to boost your real quick, if you need like a metric that you can take to these corporate executives and really show them what's happening is, for example, like Scale Your Hustle. I launched that just as a pet project in February-ish, I want to say, but it's reached what was it, 147,000? I don't know. Let me look. I can even give you a number somewhere here. Oh, 159,769 this week.
Awesome.
I only
Yeah.
have
It's a great name.
255 followers. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a
Some
great
people
name.
hate it, which makes me happy.
Because they don't want to hustle.
Exactly. They just want to sit here. But
There you go.
something. The reason why, and if you want to be, that's a metric that'll move the needle. That'll get people interested. So what you do is say, like, if you have a little bit extra loot for marketing, throw that into some of the stuff and push it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can go and say, listen, this is how many people we reached this week. Would you like to get in with this?
Right. Right.
And so now
Awesome.
you have an
Mm-hmm.
asset, because I promise you on certain levels that they're probably not getting that same kind of reach that you are. So give it a couple of
Right.
days, let it cook, and come back with a screenshot and say, we're awesome. How are you? And so now you're playing in the big kids pool too. and you get bigger players
Awesome.
to promote you like that way too. All right.
Yeah, love it.
Excellent. Cool. Well, was this at all
Thank you.
helpful?
For me, yes. I hope it is for everyone watching.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, thanks for everybody jumping on and all these crazy things. By the way, if you need me, if you want clarity on anything, just shoot me an email kind of thing. And then I'll try to do these like 2 or 3 times a week, and then possibly more if we can duct tape the children. I had to text the wife because it was like elephants with shotguns. I don't know if you could hear that.
You can't.
Well,
That's
thank you for
great.
coming on again. It was great to
Thank
meet you. And
you.
like I said, if you have any questions, hit me up. Everybody else, I'll see you again in a couple of days. Stay safe, have fun. All right, toodles.
Thanks.